As many of you know, over the weekend, Sony had an outage. PSN was not working. A lot of people came home from work on a glorious Friday in the month that celebrates the history of the black mans and womans that impacted American history. They came in their house feeling, if they were black, black and beautiful, and if they were Dominican, black and beautiful. And they sat down out there, because you know, I know black, I Dominican. Sure, buddy. Put that motherfucker in a situation and let them see that it's a black man putting them in that sticky situation. Hey, brother, we both black. Hey. Mijo, we black. No, I meant to say fucking hermano and my dumbass. Hey, mi hermano, brother, my nigga, we black. But we're not gonna go into that. Point is, they sat down with their black excellence. They picked up their PlayStation controller and said, I want to play insert various popular game. One of various popular games. And they booted it up. And they got an error code in their game. Saying you can't access this game. You're not online. Oh, maybe they had an update. Because you know, whenever it's a system update and you ain't update, it doesn't connect to PSN. They go to check updates, it's nothing. Okay, maybe it's the game. They go to check updates, it's nothing. What's happening? They go online, they Google, is PSN down? They go to the website, PSN is down. Some people, if you add your games digitally and your PlayStation wasn't set as your primary PlayStation, you were cooked. And there was no way to set it as your primary PlayStation because, again, couldn't access PSN. Couldn't access PSN. So you couldn't change it to your primary PlayStation. Going from there on, PSN was down for several days and it affected a lot of people. Like I said, I think one of the good things about this is there are going to be a whole large group of people that are going to be scared back into buying games physically, which is something I'm going to always be happy for and I'm going to always love, because I could hop on my little high horse and, you know, pull out my games, do my little game spread, say, hey, fuck nigga, this is why I buy games physically. But that's not what today is about. Today is about me saying this is why buying games physically is a good thing. Because, and advocating for the rights of physical games is a good thing. Because the second thing that usually comes up in these conversations, like right before I get into the article, is usually after buy more games physically is, man, most of the time the game not even on the disc. We should fight for that. What we should do is, if the game is not offered on the disc, don't buy the game digitally or physically. Simple. Oh man, but I'm addicted to Call of Duty and I'm gonna play it every year. And I'm part of the reason why every year Call of Duty is one of the top 10 selling games since like 2011, man. So I don't know if that's gonna work for me. Then shit that happens, like when PSN goes down, the whole game goes down, when stuff like that happens, again, don't look left, don't look right. Look in the mirror and look at yourself. Okay? The stuff like that is bound to keep happening if we as a gaming community don't fight for it. Okay? And that's just in general in life. If you don't work to get shit, you ain't never gonna have shit. Okay? So, like, going back to this whole thing, we need to figure out some type of system where we could get 100 million, quintillion, billion bytes on a damn disc, so that we could get these games physically on these discs, so that it's no situations where single player games require online when they're single player. I don't need to connect with other people to play this game functionally. But let's bring it in and talk about why Sony has spilled the beans on what caused a PSN outage and thrown in some free PSN sub to those affected. So yeah, if you were affected by this, by the way, you get not a goddamn thing if you weren't subscribed to PlayStation Plus. Now, if you are a PlayStation Plus subscriber, I'ma spoil it. You get 2 days short of a week of free PSN. 5 days. You get 5 extra free days of PSN. It's trash. But let's read on. While it only lasted around a day, Sony has thrown in some free PSN time to all users. On Zitter, the Ask PlayStation account posted the following statement: network services have fully recovered from an operational issue. We apologize for the inconvenience and thank the community for the patience. All PlayStation Plus members, all PlayStation Plus members will automatically receive an additional 5 days of service. You know what they should give us? An extra free game this month. Next month or this month, they should give, no, next month, so that we have a whole month to claim it. They should give us an extra free game. I think that's what they should do. Yeah, you will not show that fucking video. Fuck out of here. Now an operational issue is vague, of course. We still don't know the exact nature of the... Can I exit out of this dumbass shit? Yo, bro, alright. Fuck this article. We're not reading it. Yeah, I basically gave you all the context. That annoying ass box on the side of the screen pissed me off. Fuck them. Speaking of PlayStation though, they might be cracking down on shovelware spam games. Now, I haven't read this article and I don't know much about this topic, so we're gonna do what I rarely do and read the first paragraph. But my main question is, what the fuck do they count as shovelware? Because shitty games aren't necessarily shovelware games. That's like the main thing that I want to say about this before we like get into it. Shitty games aren't shovelware. I think shitty games should have a space to exist just as much as non-shitty games, because like they matter. Sometimes you need a lesson of what not to do to learn what to do. So, and even that, like, a game might be shitty to a large majority of people, but there might be still a few people that enjoy it. Like, for example, me with Avengers 2020. I enjoyed what I played of that game. Now, could it have been better? Could there be some things that like could have been fixed to make the game an overall better experience? Yeah, sure. But of the stuff that was there when I was playing it, and you could go back to my playthrough, nigga, I enjoyed playing that game. Now, y'all didn't see the Black Widow part that I played because, you know, footage corrupted. There ain't nothing I could do about that. But for Black Widow, she was the most fun character. And like Hulk was fun. Playing as Kamala Khan was pretty fun. Iron Man was cool. There was a lot of fun things that I enjoyed about that game, and a lot of fun concepts and ideas. Like, because that game is shitty, would y'all consider that shovelware? Even though there's a few people out there that after all the updates and improvements, like me, enjoyed it. This could be a dangerous slippery slope. We're gonna see where they're starting off with this policy, and eventually we'll see where that slope is going to. But in recent months, digital storefronts across all gaming platforms have seemingly become inundated with AI-generated games, shovelware, and rip-off titles. So I think what they're saying with this is they're basically gonna cut down on people uploading fake games, essentially. So, hey, if you upload in the next day before, PlayStation not playing that shit. If you upload the next fucking Grand Theft Auto 6.5, PlayStation's not playing that shit. They gonna point to the door and hit you with the "Get the fuck out of here!" Many games that make it to these storefronts are questionable at best, boasting copy and paste assets, paltry mechanics, and rinse and repeat content, which is not always the devil, because like I said, we need shitty games to exist. Again carried out a recent investigation into the state of quality assurance processes protecting these storefronts, focusing most specifically on PlayStation and Nintendo stores. It was noticed, that in the last couple of days that some of these spam games have silently been stripped from the PlayStation 5 store. Are we about to witness a mass exodus of shovelware games from our digital storefronts? Now, The title of this article is missing. Because something like, I don't know, Wii Music could be considered shovelware for the Wii, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Wii Music doesn't deserve a space to exist in the gaming niche. Because Wii Music, just like any other shitty game, we all agree that it's shitty, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have a place to exist. That doesn't mean it doesn't have a place where it's like, yo, this game is shitball, dirt, ass, clap worthy, but I still like it. I don't like in particular like Wii Music, but I'm just re-expressing that sentiment that I had with Avengers 2020, for example. PlayStation users were complaining about a shovelware epidemic on the platform's digital storefront years ago. Well, yeah, ever since things went digital, like they said, like I mentioned earlier with the day before, it's easier for people to scam niggas with fake games and stuff like that. And not only that, on top of that, gaming is the biggest form of entertainment in the world and makes more money than movies, TVs, music, all that other stuff. So naturally, in any field where there's a lot of money, there's gonna be a scamming ass nigga waiting around the corner, rubbing his hands like the dude with that yellow jacket popping out from behind a tree and looking with dollar signs in their eyes. They gonna go, oh man, I'm gonna be able to get free money off a couple of these dumbasses. Let me just make a Kickstarter, asset flip a couple assets, make a trailer comparing the idea of my game to whatever popular games from the demographic that I want to swindle are a part of, probably the biggest demographic, and oh boy, OG Williker, free money glitch right there. So it's like, that's naturally gonna happen, but again, I don't want this to also affect people who are just making shitty games. It's a problem that has been brewing for a while, but it peaked recently with an investigation. Oh wait, I read that. Oh wait, no I didn't. It seems that quality assurance processes are slacking, encouraging developers to push dozens of asset flip AI generated games to storefronts. I want to use that moment, now that I'm thinking about it, to show y'all some history. Give me a second, let me pull it up. You see this image right here? Now, this is even before my time. I'm not that old, you know, the jitteries call me Unc, but I'm not even halfway through my 20s. I'm not even pushing 30. I'm barely pushing 25 if we keeping it a buck. But this is before my time. What you're seeing is the official Nintendo seal. Now, to give you a little bit of history, just a tiny bit, just enough so you know why this is important in terms of why this happened. Before digital storefronts existed, fuck being prominent, before digital storefronts existed, the way that you got games was your only option was to physically get up, rise out your seat, float over to your car if you're a superpowered individual, walk if you're a normal human being, or just a, you know, like superhero that doesn't have the ability to fly or float. Stroll over to your car, get in, or stroll over to the nearest motor vehicle, that being bus, train, car, maybe you motorize your bike, whatever, and you have to physically go to a store and buy a box. Yes, a box, not plastic reusable box, no, a cardboard box for your game and take it home and pop it into your console and play the game. Now, I say all that to say anybody could put a game in a box and write Nintendo on the front, but not everybody could have that official Nintendo seal with the special way that it looked, because people could look at it and be like, hey, I have Nintendo games at home, the seal doesn't look like that, this is fake. So Nintendo included an official seal on their game to let people know, hey, if you're buying this game, Nintendo approves of this game, and Nintendo, we played this game and made sure that not only is it a real game, not only if you like these type of games, is it a decent game, but that the game fucking works. You're not gonna pop the game into your console and it's gonna blow up your console. You're not gonna pop this game into your console and your console is gonna show a message saying, we got your bitch ass. we just scammed you to keep it a buck, and then you go there the next day, the whole store is empty, and all it is a shelf of the remaining copies of that goddamn game. No. This is an official game where if you buy it, you know that you're not getting scammed. Like I said, and I had to mention a box thing, this is where it comes full circle, is because, again, it was just a box that people put these games in. So at first, people was just putting cartridges in boxes and selling people any old thing in a box and just saying, oh, look, it comes in a box. It's a Nintendo game. It's on a cartridge. Clearly, it's a Nintendo game. And Nintendo was like, we're not playing that. You're not going to ruin and tarnish our reputation by having people think that these fake ass games that we have nothing to do with are approved on our console. Fuck no. So that's where the whole Nintendo seal of approval thing. So we went from Nintendo having a seal of approval that you had to get to put a game on their console officially, period. We go from that to now anybody can upload anything. Maybe it's time to bring that type of system back, where you have some people who are playtesters for games who just sit there all day and they play like an hour, 20 minutes of a game and make sure that the game is real. Now, I can't guarantee that niggas have to beat every game to prove that the game is real or whatever like that, or they have to play it for a certain amount of days if it's a live service game. But like logistically, that is possible to work out, but I'm just too lazy to sit here and think it out. But maybe they can implement some type of system where they have actual people test these games before they're allowed to be on the storefront and make sure that the games work and don't make your PS5 transform into a bomb that you can strap on your chest and run towards the nearest PS4 niggas PS4 and hold the PS4 towards your chest while your PS5 is about to blow up so you can blow that shit up and make it and get another one. I don't know if that's the type of situation that we going on, but there's got to be some type of system. We got to bring that system back, man, because obviously not having that system is not working. PS4 and PS5 users have noticed the vast amounts of shovelware winding up in their search results, and some developers are standing out as key culprits. For instance, Random Spin Games, which releases multiple games a month, all of which are low effort, mostly pointless creations. Who are you to determine low effort? Yeah, maybe the person is just ass at doing something. That doesn't mean it's low effort, number one. Number two, a pointless game is very subjective. Because there's a lot of people who would say that Avengers 2020 was pointless. I would say I don't agree. It looks like what happened with Avengers is a lot of effort was put into making a fun action adventure game, and the developers of that game wanted to make that and were making that, and bigwigs came over there. Like I said, like always, they came over there, dick on the shoulder, looking. That looks nice, but make it a Fortnite. What the fuck does that mean? Make it live service, charge them for that shit. And fucked up and ruined the game and made the game something that it was never meant to be and should have never been. So again, a pointless game is very, very, very subjective. Breakthrough Gaming is another name. This developer was releasing 2 or 3 RPG games a month at its peak. However the fuck you pronounce that? That looks like one of them damn. Oh, what the fuck? That looks like one of those damn Amazon seller names. Basically, when people sell shit on Amazon, they basically go and generate a name of just random characters so that like they could trademark their little fake ass business and keep it a buck and keep it a G like that. And trademark it basically. So yeah, if it's so bad that we're getting just random ass names, yeah, there's a problem. Which in the last 5 or 6 weeks has released around a dozen games. You can likely imagine how bad they all are. Eurogamer noticed today that stacks of titles from Random Spin Games, one of the biggest offenders on PlayStation, have been removed on the download. damn, them games was gay and they was hiding it. And shit, I hope they become comfortable with themselves. What? It hasn't been highlighted why they've been removed, but it could have been a knock-on impact from Higgins' investigation, and PlayStation Store operators are getting wiser about these deceptive practices. Now, what will they do about the scam copies that pop up, like the fake Black Myth Wukong? Okay, that was it. They didn't link the article there, but I don't feel like looking it up, and I don't really think y'all would give a fuck. But let me basically put it like this, though. Fake Wukong that they're talking about is basically just a shitty platformer game, which is what I said earlier, that this could go down a very slippery slope of maybe it's not so much that these games are shovelware, so to speak, but they're just ass. Like, there's probably somebody out there that likes Anubis the Second, which a lot of you probably think is Anubis too. Let me, now what will they do about scam copies, rip off Last of Us on, blah, blah, blah. Anubis 2. Now, a lot of you probably know this game from, where's open image in new tab. A lot of you probably know this game for being like the #1 game that people cite as like proof that the Wii was full of just straight garbage ass games. And I would say you're not wrong about that statement. This is proof. But just because this game was an ass copy of another game, that doesn't mean that it should be invalidated. Like, was it a cash grab? Yes, sure, 100%. Not gonna argue or disagree with you about that. But does that mean it shouldn't have the room to exist? Nah. Again, I want to know, like, how specific are they going to get? How are they going to distinguish the difference between this game is just fucking ass and what's shovelware? Because I can understand removing AI games or games that don't work or games that are scams. But if y'all just start removing any old game that niggas call ass, I'm very scared for the future of gaming, bro. I'm very scared. Like, imagine a world where you put your game on PlayStation and PlayStation goes, man, this shit is so ass, nobody deserves to play it. Get the fuck off our storefront. And you had a small community of people that liked the game, even though everybody else thought the game was horrendous to the highest degree. Like, what if it's a game that drops broken, unfinished, and never works within the first year of release, but after the first year is good? Like a Battlefield, literally any Battlefield game. The first year of any Battlefield game, I would never recommend playing Battlefield, any Battlefield game year one, unless you just got disposable, buy another PS5 if this one fucks up income. If you only have one PS5 and you don't got the money to just financially be okay if you buy another PS5, don't play Battlefield in the year it releases. All right, at all. In no way, shape, or form. Don't even try it. Shit's not gonna work, I promise you. So it's like, what happens when it comes to games like that? What happens when it comes to games like Cyberpunk that really turned it around, but at first worked like horribly? What happens when it comes games like The Division, where for both The Division 1 and 2 on release, every critic I know and I saw, how long was I going without music? Every critic I know and I saw was like, yeah, this shit is terrible, this shit is ass, blah, 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 blah. But a year in, after some updates, people was like, oh, this is low-key kind of good. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope, and I don't want to slip down it. Some slopes that, some place that also has slopes that I'm not going to want to slip down are in Elden Ring Night Rings map. And apparently the map will sometimes see large-scale changes to terrain, including procedurally appearing volcanoes, Paris, and yes, swamps. Not gonna lie, just reading this headline, I'm getting a headache, and it's why I had to sit down. Because I know this game, and the beta test for this game is in 4 days, ironically. And I got into the beta test, so trust and believe, We will. Yeah, it's on Friday. Trust and believe, when the beta for this game goes live, the online network test for this game goes live on PS5, I will be there playing this game, not enjoying it. But I will be playing this game nonetheless, and we'll see if this shit, maybe this shit will be the mix to the Soulsborne formula that I like. Because I thought maybe it was just that I hate all Soulsborns, but beating Deathbound last year showed me that I don't hate Soulsborns. I just hate games that bore me, and Elden Ring bores me. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. But speaking of PC Gamer Magazine, issue 405, director Ishizaki shares that the map sometimes sees large-scale changes to terrain in the form of procedurally appearing volcanoes or swamps or forests. I want to know what's the system that the changes are based around, if that makes sense. So like, what parts of the map will be static constants where I'll know what's going on that part of the map always, no matter what? That's really what I want to know. And how, like, there's a lot of questions I have about this game, but we're gonna find out Friday with that PS5 version. We wanted the map itself to be a giant dungeon, so players have the chance to traverse and explore a different way every time they play. Now, if y'all don't know anything about Soulsborne games, one thing that's very like consistent amongst the Soulsborne games is that there are a lot of hidden places that are very hard and oddly specific to get to. Those places are now going to be even harder and even more oddly specific to get to now that the map is going to be partially procedurally generated. Because I just fucking know that they're going to have some secret boss or some secret fuck ass room where if you procedurally get a volcano and you go, and if you get a volcano that specifically appears in this exact specific spot and you go to the tip and you jump in, at any other time it'll kill you, but at this specific time, if it generates in this specific spot, if you jump in it, there's a chest inside where you can get a free weapon that one-shots every boss in the game. Like, that's just how Soulsborne games are. It's just weirdly random, oddly specific Easter egg type stuff like that that's going to get even harder to access. That's why I had to sit down for this. My head is just spinning just thinking about this. Ishizaki said that you have to choose the boss you want to face at the end of the third day. Once you've made that choice, maybe you have an idea of how you want to strategize against that boss. This might change how you approach the map. We wanted to offer players that agency to decide, I need to go after a poison weapon this time to face this boss. So there you have it. Oh god. Weapons will be inconsistent and builds won't carry over past saves. Then on top of that, we gotta find weapons every time. I'm just reading this article and I already know how stressful this game is. And stuff like this is just gonna make it more stressful. Oh lord. I'm gonna have to have two people carry me, dog. Once you've made that choice, maybe, oh wait, I read that. So there you have it. While Elden Ring Night Rain does throw in some roguelike and co-op elements to freshen things up, it doesn't dare to go without offering a horrible old swamp that'll likely leave you greatly poison debuffed. You don't really see a From Software game without a poison swamp, so why start now, I suppose. Elsewhere in this chat with the PC Gamer, Ishizaki says that tossing some roguelike elements into the pot was definitely a way of condensing the RPG experience down rather than chasing a trend. Not that there's anything wrong with that. My brain just hurts reading this, knowing what type of headache-inducing stress I'm about to incur.